Innovative is a global leader for industrial connected worker solutions with the next generation connected workforce platform. The platform digitally connects the entire industrial workforce, executives, and back office, and uses built-in integrations to connect your SAP, IBM Maximo, and other back office systems with field-ready mobile solutions. Our zero-code configurator tool gives developers or non-developers complete freedom to customize and build mobile environments without any coding experience. I'm going to start off the process of the fixed asset verification on mAssetTag using the Asset Administrator module that you see on the screen. First, I'm going to play the role of an asset admin or an asset manager on the financial side of the business. So the first step is to actually schedule a periodic count. So I'm going to go into the Asset Inventory Scheduler application. Here, I have a configurable search screen that lists all the key fields that I need to pull up my fixed assets. So I can either search based on the SAP company code. I have a list of all my fixed asset classes here, so I can filter my list based on a specific asset class. I can see all of my plants that need to be part of this search. And I can select any field from the fixed asset master record to be able to sort and slice and dice my data. So I'm going to search with my company code set. And so now I see a list of all the fixed assets in my system on this specific company code. I can go in and filter by asset class over here. So I can put in an asset class and then filter my list based on the asset class here. I can also go and filter based on cost center. So I can say my cost center equal to T-115. And then I filter based on cost center. So this gives me the ability to actually pick and choose and select the right assets that I needed to show up on this count cycle. If I want to remove a filter, I just delete the filter and I have my list refreshed. So I'm going to select all of these assets on this list. So all I do is click on the top left corner, which selects all of my assets to be scheduled for this count. So here at the top right, it shows me the quantity. So 53 assets part of this count. And then I will assign this to a user. So I'm going to select my user ID. So I'm going to type in my username. And then I can set a completion date. So the target completion date can be set in order to give visibility onto deadlines. So I'm going to set my target completion date here as October 30th. And scroll down, and I'm going to send this list to the user. So what I did just now was created a list of assets to be included as part of my physical inventory counting or my cycle counting. So that is created. I have a batch that's been created, and this is going to be assigned and distributed to a user in the field that's going to now perform the count on their mobile device. So once the asset count has been scheduled by the asset administrator on their laptops or desktops, a user in the field receives a notification and they are able to retrieve the count lists on their device. So I click on my count lists and then I open up the specific list that I need to be working on. So here I have a list of assets that I can view. I can also view this on a map. So I can click on my map here and then it points me to the location where these assets are located. So I can click on each one of these and navigate to the asset and review them. Or I can also scan the barcode. So I'm going to bring up my camera here and scan an asset barcode. And then it automatically tracks the asset as barcode scan verified, which means that all the user needs to do is now submit the verification. But before they do that, I can go in and make any changes that I need on here. If I need to update information on my fixed asset master, I can do this from this screen. So let me go back to my list still, and then go into this list of assets. So I can scan any barcode. So I can either use a QR code or a standard barcode to view my asset records. So as I scan it, it pulls up the information regarding that asset and has it available for me to review. In case I don't have access to the barcode or the barcode is damaged, I can click on my scan button and actually turn on the manual input to key in the number manually here, and then I can search for the asset. When I do that, it automatically switches over to the manual verification option, and now I can choose a reason code on why I was not able to scan this barcode. So here I'm going to select barcode damaged, and then I can put in a note asking my administrator to replace the barcode tag. And I say done, and I hit submit, and then I can go back to my list, and you'll see the second asset is updated with my tagged information. If I'm not able to locate a specific asset as part of my physical count, I can select that asset, and I can manually say update status. So in this case, I can choose whether it's a manual verification or an asset not located, and then I can go type in my reason codes or my notes. Here I can say is asset transferred as my reason, and then submit. So here it always validates that I choose a valid reason code. So I have to actually select a reason code over here to submit this. So once I submit my last and final asset, my list is complete, and then I can go back to my home screen here. Now let's take a look at the scanning capability of the mAssetTag application. So I can use the scan asset barcode function to be able to scan an asset tag and bring up that information and update the asset record as needed. So I'm going to use my camera to scan a barcode here. So I'm going to scan the specific barcode. So it's going to look up the barcode ID and locate the asset in my SAP system. I'm going to say OK to look up that information. So here, this one's a Ford Escape truck. I have all the information on this asset record. So here you also see the asset location. The previous location was in Houston, while the current location is in Spring. I can go in here and view any images of the asset if it's available, or if I want to add attachments, store a picture, I can do that. And once I'm ready to save this record, I just click on the Tag Asset button to be able to save this. If I want to go scan another barcode, this application also supports QR codes. So I'm going to scan this QR code, and here it's going to pick up this Ford F-150 truck. I can look at the attachments on here. So this gives me real visibility into the asset records, and I can make changes on the fly using my mobile device. Once the users in the field or the plant have completed their count, the asset administrator or the finance manager in the back office gets visibility on what has been recorded in the field. So I click on my asset inventory status feature on the application. I select my company code. I can key in a specific batch ID to filter down my results, and I can search for the results. So here on this sheet, I see a total of 8 assets, out of which 5 are marked as green and 3 are marked as red. So let's look at what was counted and what was not found on this asset count. So as I scroll on my screen, you'll see the user that did the count has captured the information on here, right? I have the first 3 assets that are recorded as barcode scanned. I can see what the last inventory date was. So when the count was performed, I can see that information there. As I scroll through on here, I can see the physical address where the user performed the count. So I have real-time visibility into where the count happened. As I scroll through my list, I can see on the 4th record, my status says barcode damaged, which means that there's a damaged barcode and I need to replace the barcode. I can see 3 assets that are in red were either marked as scrapped One was transferred, the other was lost or missing. So I have visibility into what assets actually do not exist in my physical location that either need to be retired or transferred from my system. And then I have one more which says barcode cannot be reached. So maybe the barcode was too high and the scanner could not read the barcode, right? So in real time, we're able to capture this information from the field and bring it to the back office user or the finance manager with real-time visibility. If I want to take some action on something that's been scrapped or removed from my physical location, I can actually perform an asset transaction directly from this screen to my SAP system. So I'm going to select this asset and click on the Retire Asset button. So it's going to copy over the information. So here I would just key in my transaction dates as September 30th. I can put in my posting period. I can select a document type from my list of document types or manually key it in. And then I can select the asset transaction type for my fixed asset module. And then I can type in notes and retire this asset directly from the mAssetTag application to my SAP system. Additionally, if I want to view metrics of this count, I can just click on my KPI button. It shows me, a pie chart of, the asset counts that have been completed. 3 were not found. And then I can also see a status breakdown based on the different reason codes that were selected. So now I have a visual representation of what went on in the field in real time on my desktop dashboard. So this way, as a finance manager, I'm able to maintain visibility into the status of a count as well as trace and view what counts are being carried out in the field. In addition to the scanning and the inventory reporting capabilities, the mAssetTag desktop solution also has an asset KPI dashboard, which has configurable KPI charts that can be set up based on your requirements. Let's take a quick look at what some of these KPI reports are and how they can be configured based on your enterprise. I'm going to select a company code on here and I'm going to search for a list of all the assets. So here you'll see it brings down a dump of all the asset records. From here, I can call upon my KPI dashboard. So here I have 2 reports that are set up, but this can be tailored based on your requirements. So number 1 is, an asset inventory list by class. So I can click on this and it shows me a breakdown of all of my assets that have been tagged or inventoried in the certain time period, split by asset class, right? So I can see which one of my asset classes are counted and what's not been counted. I can also see the asset inventory status month on month, right? I can see kind of a peak. I can see the drops where the counts are not being done. So that way I can distribute my workload evenly and ensure that towards the end of the year, I'm able to reconcile or report all of my physical counts over my entire count of fixed assets. The mAssetTag solution is a comprehensive fixed asset planning, tagging, and tracking solution that runs on iOS or Android platforms and provides your finance organization with full visibility of all fixed assets in your enterprise.